What's good, everybody? It's your boy D Nice with I2G Hip Hop, back at it with another review. Urge everyone to like, comment, and subscribe here. The YouTube page, I2G Hip Hop. The letter I, the number 2, the letter G, Hip Hop, all one word. And it is for the official site, www.illuminati2g.com. That's the word Illuminati, the number 2, and letter G.com for all of your hip hop needs. Today we are getting into the new album by Snoop Dogg and executive produced by Dr. Dre, titled Missionary, kind of the unofficial, official follow-up or sequel to Doggy Style, which just had its 30-year anniversary earlier this year. Couple disclaimers I'm going to say right off the bat, two mainly. For all of the OG fans of Doggy Style are expecting Doggy Style 2 or anything like that, this is not the album for you. It's nothing like Doggy Style. I'm just going to say that right off the rip. So if that's what you're expecting, nothing like that. Second, first and foremost, try and come in with an open mind with it. Snoop obviously it has a 30 plus year career in hip hop. He's done reggae, he's done dabbled in rhythm and gangsters, he called it, kind of almost R&B, pop records. The guy has done everything. As far as I'm concerned, really sit down and think about it, I don't think anyone's done more guest appearances than Snoop. Snoop has got to be up there. He's been on everyone's album, done guest appearances for the biggest names in hip hop, in pop, in any genre that you want. So with that being said, try and come into it with an open mind. I've literally seen already probably about 5 to 10 reviews of this album already, and people either completely hate it or they absolutely love it. So if you try to come in with an open mind with it, with Snoop, I think you'll be able to kind of differentiate and have your own opinion. But again, it's everyone's opinion. It is just that, their own opinion. So I have to say this, lastly, views expressed here are I2G and I2G only. We're not linked to Interscope or Death Row or Aftermath. This is just my personal opinion on the album. So please don't kill me in the comments. This is just my personal opinion on it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First song, we're going to do track by track, just give my opinion and go from first track to last track. 16 tracks on this project. Foreplay, Snoop, Dr. Dre, and BJ the Chicago Kid, kind of an intro. The sample on it is People Make the World Go Round by the Stylistics, which was also sampled by Westside Connection on Gangsters Make the World Go Round on their Bow Down album. But a nice sample here by Dr. Dre. BJ the Chicago Kid kind of gives an intro into the project, so it kind of has a nice old school feel to it. Shangri-La then follows it up. Real dope track produced by Dr. Dre, also co-produced by Sam Snead. Really like it lyrically. One thing that jumps out about you is just how invigorated and hungry Snoop sounds lyrically throughout this whole album, but especially on this intro track. Really dope tracks lyrically on it, and a dope Dr. Dre beat. Out of the Blue, which was a single that they dropped earlier. It was also on Madden 25. This also samples MIA's iconic Paper Planes track. Really dope how Snoop and Dre kind of play back and forth with the rhymes, kind of a la like Jadakiss and Styles P. But it's a really dope track. Kind of throwback, kind of has kind of that next episode type feel to it. Definitely something I would hear in the club. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about this particular track. A lot of people weren't feeling it, but I absolutely love it. Really dope, dope beat and nice bass line to the track. So, like I said, for me, 3 for 3 so far. Excuse me. Hard Knocks. Again, produced by Dr. Dre. Super dope track. Snoop really in his bag lyrically on this one. Kind of was the first track that kind of jumped out to me out of the first 3. Hard Knocks, definitely a keeper and dope track. Gorgeous, another single off of it with Janae Aiko and Snoop and Dr. Dre. Kind of a little bit more R&B type beat, but really dope. Again, with these tracks, especially with this track, and then also the Out of the Blue, kind of more, kind of laid back R&B club type beats. Not really heavy bass lines, but super clean as far as the production. Really enjoy it. It's very lush, kind of updated production. Kind of has that kind of Compton feel. If you like the Compton album that Dr. Dre had dropped back in 2015, you'll definitely love Missionary and love this album. It's kind of like, the best way I can explain it is kind of like how the Chronic was kind of that raw, gritty West Coast hip hop, and then Doggy Style kind of had that more polished, updated G-Funk sound. It's kind of similar with this album, but another dope track, simple, straight to the point. Last Dance with Mary Jane with Snoop Dogg. Again, produced by Dr. Dre and ICU group. That's Focus, Fred Wreck, Eric Griggs. Dope track with Tom Petty and Jelly Roll. You know, it's kind of an ode to Mary Jane, aka Marijuana. Real dope, dope track. Kind of has kind of a country feel to it, but you know, I love the production on this particular track, and I definitely think it would be a big time single if they drop it. Kind of has that crossover kind of country feel to it as well, but really enjoyed the production by Dr. Dre on this. Really was in his bag with his samples, and you know, just how he kind of the interpolations that he had a lot on these tracks, but definitely a dope track as well. Next track, Thank You, which actually samples Sly and the Family Stone. Again, a dope track. When they did the interview and kind of the intro to this album, they had this on the they said it was undone. It was an unfinished track. Did add it last minute though. Really dope lyrically as well. Kind of has that Dr. Dre 2001 feel to it, but really dope track as well. Pressure then follows that up. Dr. Dre and Khan, super dope track. Focus, Melvin Henderson, Dr. Dre with the production on that as well. You know, Dre kind of freaks a lot of the beat switch ups here. And this was one of the later on in the actual album. He has 2 songs specifically that does a beat switch up, but Pressure was a super dope beat. Again, kind of has that Dr. Dre 2001 feel. Another Part of Me, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and Sting. Again, the ICU group, that's kind of the Aftermath in-house production crew on this. Another dope kind of, again, sample with Sting on it as well. And Snoop, the recurring theme for each of these songs, Snoop's pronunciation, his flow, everything is top notch. It kind of has that old school 1993 feel, but kind of an updated, mature sound. This is definitely a mature Both these guys are in their mid to late 50s. So again, if you're expecting Doggy Style or something G-Funk or from 1993, this is not the album for you. This is grown man hip hop here. Really dope track. Skyscrapers is quickly becoming my favorite track on here. That's with Snoop, Dr. Dre, Method Man, and Smitty. Produced by Dr. Dre and Sam Snead. On that, lyrically, Snoop just absolutely murders this track. Kind of has a Just Blaze feel to it. Like I said, this whole album kind of feels like it was done almost like a live concert feel to it. But a crazy track produced by Dre and the Aftermath crew on that. And Method Man drops easily a top 5 guest appearance verse in 2024. Absolutely murders it. I would love to see more collaborations with Method Man and Dr. Dre. I'm sure there are some in the vaults, but I would love to, whether it's a whole album or even 2 or 3 tracks, if Method Man decides to drop something new, it'd be super dope to see Dre work with Method Man again. But Method Man absolutely murders it, and so does Snoop as well. Smitty's verse is also dope. Kind of sounds very kind of Jay-Z-ish a little bit, just his tone and flow and everything. But super dope track. Fire, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Coco Sarai. Another great one. Fred Wreck also in the production on this with Dr. Dre. Crazy beat. Almost has kind of a reggae type feel to it. For this, when Snoop was doing his Snoop Lion stuff, Reincarnated, this would have fit perfect with this album. But a really dope track. Then we get into Guns and Smoke. That was one I was definitely anticipating. This is the first collab with 50 Cent, Eminem, and Snoop. Dr. Dre also on the production on this as well. Kind of underwhelming to me. Liked Snoop verse. Kind of the double time flow with 50. It really just didn't fit kind of his voice, and just lyrically it just kind of felt kind of muddied and kind of slow prodding. Snoop, like I said, flowing like water on it. Eminem's verse was okay, nothing extraordinary. I definitely expected more kind of from this track. Nothing mind-blowing, but nothing terrible either. Just kind of an average track. Sticky Situation, Snoop, Dr. Dre, Khan, Coco Sarai, another one. This samples Isaac Hayes' Hyperbolic song on his Hot Buttered Soul album. It was also sampled by Muggs on Puppet Master on the Soul Assassins album that had Be Real and Dr. Dre on it. The Game sampled it. DJ Quick sampled it. Hot Buttered Soul is one of, if not the most sampled albums by a lot of hip-hop artists over the years. But it starts out with that. Snoop again flowing like water. It actually is murdering it. And then it has a crazy beat switch up in the middle of it, and continues like that. Dre dabbled with the beat switch up with different beats a lot on singular songs on Compton. So again, you kind of get that Compton feel with this as well, with a lot of the beats changes and everything. But really dope track. Now or Never by Snoop, Dr. Dre, and BJ the Chicago Kid. Again, produced by Dr. Dre and Eric Hudson and Danny Murdoch. Really dope track. Dr. Dre and Snoop kind of going back and forth lyrically with this, but definitely was feeling this as well. Gangsta Pose, Snoop, Dr. Dre, Dem Joints, Stallone, and Fat Money. A great track as well. produced by Dre and Melvin Henderson and them joints. Um, Super dope track again. Lyrically, Snoop is completely in pocket with this. And then to close out the album is the Negotiator. Dr. Dre, Sam Snead, them joints, and lyrically, Snoop again absolutely murders the outro track. You kind of get the feeling with this album, maybe this might be Snoop's last album, but I also feel like with the lyrical performance that he put on with this particular project, I would love to see something more from him. So, my final grade out of 5, I personally would give this album about a 4.25 out of 5. I absolutely love it. I would say this is probably Snoop's, if I had to rank it in his catalog, this is his 19th album. It's definitely top 5. I would say Doggy Style obviously would be 1. You've got The Last Meal, you've got Blue Carpet Treatment. Kind of flip-flop in between, back and forth with those. This is easily Snoop's best album since the Blue Carpet Treatment. Snoop and Dr. Dre are like peanut butter and jelly, Batman and Robin, any duo that you can come up with. They're a classic duo. Snoop always sounds completely reinvigorated when he is rapping over Dr. Dre beats. You can tell everything, the pronunciation to the lyrical content to just the lyricism that Snoop displayed on this. Everything is grade A. And Snoop sometimes has joked about this, but Dr. Dre really keeps him vocally in pocket. And you can hear that throughout this album. There's times Snoop, I close my eyes, it takes me back to 1993 when I hear that young, hungry, invigorated Snoop that I heard on Deep Cover, or I heard on Doggy Style, or I heard on Stranded on Death Row. So many classic Death Row tracks and albums over the years. And like I said, these guys were the dynamic duo for many years. And we had, Break Up to Make Up. That album never came out. You had the Wash soundtrack that was originally supposed to be a Dr. Dre and Snoop album. And you've had a couple collaborations here and there. Dre did a couple tracks on No Limit Top Dog, Bitch Please, or Just Dippin'. Different tracks like that, or Round Here on Blue Carpet Treatment, or Boss's Life. He's never really done more than 3 tracks on Snoop albums, and it's very sparingly. So to have an entire album with the ICU production crew, Dr. Dre, Sam Snead back in the fold, and everything, it's super, super dope. The production is crazy on this. I really enjoyed the beats. I'm also a fan of the Compton album. I'm not saying it's better than 2001. I'm not saying it's better than The Chronic, but it gets back to what I was saying at the beginning, and I said so many disclaimers because Snoop has gone so many different musical directions in his career, and a lot of that happened is because when Dr. Dre left Death Row and went to Aftermath, Snoop lost his musical kind of director with his music. Snoop has put out great music with Daz. He's put out music with DJ Pooh. He's put out great music with Pharrell. Pharrell is really the only other producer that I could see that executive produces something for Snoop. And I would be, super hyped or excited just from where they've the work that they've done and just the quality of the tracks that they've done over the years. But only second to Dr. Dre. And Dr. Dre, it's like I said, lyrically he's in pocket. He makes sure he's in pocket. And this album definitely showcased that. I'm glad to see, because I didn't really think that they would have another project that they would do like this. But I was super excited in 2015 to see Snoop all over the Compton album. He had the best verses, in my opinion, personal opinion, on the entire project, other than Kendrick and the Game song that they had on there. Those guys really kind of were the best performers on that project. Like I said, Snoop has gone so many different musical directions, and a lot of that had to do with Dr. Dre going to Aftermath, kind of doing his own thing, developing and putting out projects with Eminem, working with 50 Cent a lot. Not to say Snoop got lost in the shuffle, because he was still putting out projects, but a lot of those albums you could kind of hear Snoop at times felt a little, or sounded a little lost in musical direction. Now he has resurrected Death Row Records. He is the CEO of Death Row Records. He dropped a great project with executive produce for the Dog Pound, executive produce for the East Side as their EP, and really resurrected Death Row for 2024. I'm going to be doing a kind of an editorial a little bit about kind of the resurrection of Death Row Records in 2024, the projects that they've dropped and everything like that. But again, this is a great album. The sound, I've heard people say, and I have to kind of agree with them, it does kind of have a Just Blaze, kind of Rockefeller, Just Blaze, Kanye West type sound to it at times, kind of a little East Coast, but it definitely has that live album feel, with the drums, the horns, the violins. It's very lush, very loud. I've heard people say that as well, but I've listened to this on my Dr. Dre solos. I've listened to it on my Dr. Dre studios. I've listened to it on earbuds, listened to it in the car, listened to it in the laptop. I know a lot of people have been upset with the mixing and mastering of this project. I love it. Like I said, again, I love the Compton album, and I love this. There's not a lot of bass heavy tracks on this, as opposed to the Chronic or Doggy Style. Again, do not compare to this. It's a completely separate project. Snoop is in his early 50s. Dr. Dre is in his late 50s, about to be 60 if he's not already. As I said, this is a completely different album, and it should be reviewed as such. Ice Cube dropped his album Man Down. I enjoyed that album. It's not the greatest. It's not his best project. Same with Missionary. This is not his best album, but it is a hell of an album. Again, I would put it in, it's easily top 5 best albums, and his best album since the Blue Carpet Treatment. Lyrically, Snoop sounds completely reinvigorated, is completely hungry, and lyrically he owns this album. This is a Snoop album. Dr. Dre, did a couple appeared on a couple tracks, maybe 3 at the most, as far as lyrics. So this is not like kind of a Raekwon or Ghostface type thing where Ghostface is doing half the lyrics along with Raekwon or anything like that, but it still has that Death Row Aftermath feel to it. And it's a great introduction. Dre's been on fire as well this year. Dropped, it, in my opinion, the best R&B album this year from Marsha Ambrosius, Casablanca. It's kind of in that feel. If you enjoyed Casablanca and you enjoyed the Compton album, it's kind of a mesh of those 2 albums. That's what you get with this album, Missionary. Dope production. It's more of an advanced West Coast sound, and Dr. Dre, if you one thing you know about Dr. Dre, he always kind of reinvents himself and reinvents his sound. From Chronic to Dr. Dre 2001 to other projects he's done in between, now going into this with Marsha's album, and now with Snoop's album. So I would give it right now a 4.25 out of 5. It's got crazy replay value. I've listened to it at least 4 times. and I really, really enjoy it. You can listen to it in the ride, you can listen to it at home, you know, just chilling, cleaning around the house, just want to throw some music on. You know, it's a great soundtrack to whatever you're doing in your life. So again, don't shoot the messenger. I personally enjoyed it, and that's the way it should be anyway. Just value everyone's opinion. There's no need to get mad or upset with somebody if they don't like it. There's no need to get mad or upset with somebody if they do like it. This is just my personal review, my personal opinion. I give it a 4.25 out of 5. So again, the site, www.illuminati2g.com. Be on the lookout. We've got a lot more reviews coming up here between now and the end of next week. Before, I would say probably now, with so many releases that dropped this past Friday. A couple of days ago, we dropped the Fat Joe review for his new album. I think we're going to push back the I2G Hip Hop Awards to around New Year's Eve. We'll be dropping that because I want to give it enough time between now and before the end of this month to review a lot of the new projects that are coming out, and that'll give us enough time to completely break it down. And then we'll be going into 2025. We got a lot of stuff coming up for 2025. It is our 25th anniversary, July 31st, 2025. Been in the game 25 years, so it's going to be our silver anniversary. We've got a lot of things planned coming up, so be on the lookout for that. But we will have our end of the year I2G Hip Hop Awards. Be on the lookout for that. We'll be promoting it like crazy, but we will be getting more of these reviews knocked out. I have a sneaky suspicion between now and before the 31st, we're going to get a few more releases coming in for 2024. It's been a crazy year, great year for music if you're a hip-hop fan. And I urge everybody, check out Snoop and Dr. Dre's new album, Missionary. Have an open mind with it. Kick back, listen to it. If you got some really nice headphones or really nice sound system, bump this album in it. You'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate the live instrumentation, the drums, the horns, the violins. It plays out like a movie. There's also a short film for Missionary for the album. Urge everybody to check that out. We actually posted that on Illuminati2G.com, so you can go on our site, check it out as well. But it's super dope, gives you visuals kind of to the album as well. But just have an open mind with it. It's really good music. It's grown man hip hop, and it's Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Like I said, it's like peanut butter and jelly. Whether you like it on regular bread or you like it as an Uncrustable, it's a classic. Like peanut butter and jelly. Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. Can't go wrong. 4.25 out of 5. D Nice, I2G Radio, and I2G Hip Hop signing off. Peace.